And so it begins. Shannon Sharpe is announcing that he's stepping away from his duties at ESPN.
Here we go now.
Welcome back to the Kempire channel, your number one source for pop culture news and music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. So this entire week, it feels like we've been talking about Shannon Sharpe or stories related to Shannon Sharpe. Yesterday, we talked to you about Corey Holcomb slamming Tracy Ellis Ross for talking about liking to date younger men, never really saying how much younger. Again, younger could be 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. We talked about that. If you missed it, be sure to check that out. But we talked about that in relation to the Shannon Sharpe of it all, because this young woman that is suing him for $50 million was 19 when they met. Shannon has since released statements and text messages revealing their relationship was consensual, but also they were into different types of role play. We also found out from Lanny Davis, Shannon Sharpe's attorney, that before Lanny was his attorney, there were pre-settlement conversations, and at one particular point, Shannon Sharpe offered this young woman at least $10 million. So this situation where Shannon Sharpe came out and said that this is a shakedown, this is what Tony Busby, who's representing, one of the attorneys representing the victim, has said that he targets black men, even citing Jay-Z in his statement.
I want to speak to you directly and from the heart. This is a shakedown. I'm going to be open, transparent, and defend myself because this isn't right. This is all being orchestrated by Tony Busby, who has targeted Jay-Z. Tony Busby targets black men, and I believe he's going to release a 30-second clip of a sex tape that tries to make me look guilty and play into every stereotype you could possibly imagine. That video should actually be 10 minutes or so. Hey Tony, instead of releasing your edit, put the whole video out. I don't have it, or I would myself. You know what happened, and you're trying to manipulate the media. The encounter in question took place during the day at her invitation, and now that appears to be a deliberate setup, coordinated by Gabby, also known as Carly on OnlyFans. Gabby and Tony Busby want $50 million. What they're getting is sued for defamation and trying to take me down. My career is all about real talk and honesty. I know my family and fans know exactly what this is about. And I'm going to be out there telling you whatever I need to say, just like I always do. I love it.
Now he's releasing another statement. But before we get to that, let me update you from our friends over at Deadline. They said this: Shannon Sharpe will almost certainly not be returning to ESPN's First Take next week. With the R allegations, a $50 million lawsuit, and a derailed multi-million-dollar settlement surrounding the NFL Hall of Famer, the Jimmy Portaro run cable sports outlet has decided to bench Sharpe for his regular Monday and Tuesday slot on the Stephen A. Smith fronted show, according to their report. Whether or not Sharpe returns to the First Take in subsequent weeks is TBD. Apparently, currently, Disney-owned ESPN, that's important to note, intends to, quote, further investigate, according to one corporate source. So they're writing this article before Shannon Sharpe came out and released his own statement. So according to one corporate source, the Jane Doe claims in the lawsuit and Sharpe's insistence it is a, quote, shakedown, and the relationship was untraditional but consensual. Unsurprisingly, the April 22nd revelation by Sharpe's own attorney, Lanny Davis, that the Nightcap podcast co-host offered to write his accuser a $10 million check to keep this on the down low has also, quote, raised concerns. And these are quotes at ESPN. I can't imagine that ESPN is ignoring this story, hasn't had conversations with Shannon Sharpe. They could stand behind him, but I could also see them saying to him, I think maybe right now it would be important for you to step down because now this is becoming a distraction from one of our shows. ESPN has no comment on Sharpe being taken off the First Take next week. Sharpe's attorney, Lanny Davis, did not respond to requests for comment on the decision by ESPN. So this came with an update from Shannon Sharpe. So Shannon Sharpe posted on his Instagram, which looks like a screenshot of a text message, maybe that he sent to his social media manager, I'm assuming. I don't know. So this is what Shannon Sharpe said in his statement. He says, my statement is found here. This is the truth. The relationship in question was, quote, 100% consensual. At this juncture, I'm electing to step aside temporarily from my ESPN duties. So he's saying that he has elected to step aside. Do I believe that? I really don't. But he's saying that it's temporary. He continues. He says, I will be devoting this time to my family and responding and dealing with these false and disruptive allegations set against me. I plan to return to ESPN at the start of the NFL preseason. So that's important to know. So he's already giving us a date of return. So if this doesn't blow over until then, I don't see him returning. But maybe both ESPN and Shannon Sharpe are believing they will come to some sort of settlement, because I can't imagine this just being dismissed out of court. I can't imagine, after offering her $10 million, after all of the public scrutiny, that this will end up being something that is dismissed like the Jay-Z situation. I believe that they probably will do some sort of settlement where both sides end up signing some sort of NDA. He continues in his statement. Shannon says, I sincerely appreciate the overwhelming and ongoing support I have received from my family, fans, friends, and colleagues. Shannon Sharpe. Look, the internet sometimes can feel like one side feels one way and the other side feels another way. Sometimes in your world, it feels like, oh no, people are completely supporting Shannon, or there are people completely against Shannon. I don't believe him when he says the overwhelming support, because what I've seen overwhelming, at least on my Beyonce internet, is the fact that people are now looking at Shannon Sharpe like, you offered her $10 million. You deserve what you get. I'm not saying that, but this is what I'm seeing people say on social media for messing with a 19-year-old girl. We're messing with this particular girl, young woman, because she is quite young. She's still, 21 at this particular point. So I was in the middle of editing this video when more information in regards to this Shannon Sharpe's story came out, including accusations and settlements from other women. So let's get into that really quickly. According to NBC Sports, they said that Shannon Sharpe was accused of choking a female Fox employee. They said with Hall of Fame tight end and media personality Shannon Sharpe sued for SA and other claims. The media is investigating whether Sharpe had a similar claim against him before. According to Ryan Glassspiegel of FrontOfficeSports.com, there was a prior incident. According to his report, they said during Sharpe's time at FS1, he was accused of choking a female production assistant in the workplace. They cite two unnamed sources in the support of that report. He adds that one source said that Sharpe and Fox settled with the accuser for several $100,000. Said a representative for Sharpe to this reporter, they said there was no incident of choking involving Shannon on FS1 set. Interesting wording. On one occasion, he and a few colleagues were involved in some light physical interaction in a playful context. Fox Sports later chose to resolve the matter privately. For further details, we recommend contacting Fox directly. So the reporter writes that a Fox representative had declined to comment on the matter before the statement from Sharpe's representatives was received. Earlier that day, Sharpe announced that he will step aside from ESPN's appearances until the start of the NFL preseason, as we mentioned before. But not only that, according to the Post, they have a story as well. They said a former girlfriend of embattled NFL legend Shannon Sharpe claimed that their decade-long relationship ended with a restraining order after the Hall of Famer allegedly arred and threatened to ruin her if she ever spoke out, according to a previously undisclosed 2023 lawsuit. Michelle Bundy Evans filed a $4 million defamation lawsuit against Sharpe for divulging their ongoing legal dispute on television after news broke that she filed a restraining order accusing him of SA and stalking for the September 2010 incident, according to the court documents obtained by the U.S. Sun. The resurfaced accusations comes just days, as you know, after another woman in court docs under the name Jane Doe accused Sharpe of similar accusations and a $50 million lawsuit. Evans claimed that she sought legal protection after the former Denver Bronco hurled threats of ruin if she ever publicly disclosed the disturbing incident, according to the suit. The restraining order was dropped shortly after it was filed, CBS reported, with Evans claiming that she was harassed at home with her daughter over her decision to go after her former beau. Sharpe's legal team refuted Evans' lawsuit, which is pending as, quote, nonsense. Michelle Evans' claims are ridiculous and completely without merit, Vincent Morris, Sharpe's attorney, told the Post Thursday night. She could not find a lawyer to take her case, and if you read her complaint, you'll see that it's filled with nonsense. Shannon has had no contact with her for many years, and we understand that she is still on probation after serving 3 years in prison. Evans, who was jailed for a 2017 domestic incident with her alleged abusive husband, now fears for Sharpe's latest accuser, who filed her lawsuit on Sunday in Nevada State Court. I want people to understand what Shannon did to this woman by doxing her. We've talked about this. By putting her name out there, by putting out her OnlyFans account. That was horrifying because things are going to happen to her because of that. I still get it to this day, and I went through a lot of things, as you can see in the complaint, that actually even stemmed from it. The latest lawsuit alleged that Sharpe committed SA battery, sexual battery, and engaged in the intentional infliction of emotional distress during a rocky consensual relationship that lasted nearly 2 years with a woman more than 30 years younger than him. So this is just another story, and I'm not surprised by this. There are some damning claims in this lawsuit. There are a lot of think pieces on what Shannon should have and should have not done. It will be interesting to see with him not addressing this on social media, because I saw the Breakfast Club talk about this as well. He should not be addressing this. Why is he out here speaking? Let your lawyers do the speaking. He did, and you saw where that turned out.
Hell no.
But not speaking to the internet. But I see a lot of people, especially celebrities, that like to argue their case in the court of public opinion. And I know a lot of people believe that ends up working. Yes, if you really care what the public thinks about you, but legally, this is not necessarily going to help you. Guys, as always, I want to know your thoughts and opinions on what Shannon Sharpe is saying as he steps down temporarily from his show First Take on ESPN. Damn, this channel is turning into KSPN. Let's continue this conversation in the comment section. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. Thanks for watching.
Here we go now.